What is going on, my people? You can hear we got a little issue going on in terms of the seasonal, but we moving right through it. SandCity Sports back at you again with these late night editions. We got to get it in when we can get it in, and so this is the time frame for it, as we like to do. Yes, sir. We got to make sure we got to go around. Okay, we got to make sure that. Yep. Nope. You can see I stay locked into my podcast. I'm always trying to learn. We got Nightcap that's going on. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. The YouTube is rocking with me. And this is, I don't have to actually go through every one. It's letting me know right now that boo, 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 boo. We on the YouTube is good. The Twitter is good. This Facebook. We add an IG. Twitch is where it needs to be. And SandCity Sports is at you by the people for the people. Let's move that and let's get right into it. Folks, okay, a lot going on. We're going to start with the basics. Okay, shout out to everybody during this holiday season. I hope that folks are taking time for themselves. They're not getting lost in the sauce, mixed up in everything that goes on, right? Holidays can be that trifecta. I heard this recently and it resonated. It can be the trifecta. We got Thanksgiving, we got Christmas, we got New Year's, all coming at you faster than a, you know what I mean, 100-mile an hour baseball pitch. But we have to give ourselves time. We have to allow ourselves some reflection. We have to be able to marinate, all right, and not just get lost in the rat race that the holiday season can be. So just want to wish everyone start this show a happy holidays, and you know what I mean. Take that time and step back. You know, now it's busy. A lot of things are going on. The basketball season is off and running. Cape Cod kid, that's me. You know, I'm refereeing. I'm locked into my N.B.A. I'm supporting my Knicks. We got the N.B.A. Cup to talk about. A lot of things going on. All right. But at the same time, I gotta let myself know, listen, you know what I mean? Got a ball game tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it, you know, a prep school game. Okay. But then after everything settles down on a Friday, we're gonna do some we're gonna come through with some woosah and get ourselves right and just be able to have balance, okay, and not let things escalate to the point where we can't do what it is that we need to do. All right, folks. So we're gonna start in the N.B.A. Shout out to the Milwaukee Bucks winning the N.B.A. Cup. Did I have them favored? Absolutely not. I'm not high on the Milwaukee Bucks, okay? But I got to put some respect on what has been going on. They really rebounded. I think I saw their record was like 11-2, right? November, December, you know, after the Rocky start. So did I feel that they should or would beat the Oklahoma City Thunders? Thunders, plural. The Oklahoma City Thunder, who are the new power in the West? No, I didn't. Now, have the Thunder been at full strength? Is Chet Holmgren, right, who is one of their generational players, there and doing what he does? No. Is my man iHeart coming from the Knicks hurts my heart that New York had to let him go, but nonetheless, he's balling in a first-rate organization and doing his thing. We already know what it is with Shea. We already know the pieces around him. Okay, Williams, Dort. Shout out to Kassan Wallace of Kentucky fame, right? Calipari might not be winning those national championships at the clip that the talent necessitates, but he builds himself up an NBA player. Coach Cal gonna build up an NBA player. He gonna build up an all-star roster. He gonna build up first ballot Hall of Famers. So Kassan Wallace, you know, Oklahoma City, they're the new power in the West. And we're gonna talk a little bit about Denver, some trade speculation. It gets late early, folks. It gets late early in life. It gets late early in sports, business, whatever the case may be. It can seem like you're in your ascension, rising to the top of the mountain, and then one false move. You make that one false move and you tumble all the way back down. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the Denver Nuggets, folks. That's what I'm talking about. Last year was supposed to be their championship year. They had a were on a crash course with the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. What happened? What happened to that double-digit lead in the second half against the Minnesota Timberwolves? Okay, Anthony Edwards and company, the Catman, Rudy, all right, and the rest, um, got them up out of there. And just like that, that Denver dynastic window, Jokic, multiple time MVP, right? Jamal Murray went healthy, those two top duos in the league. Brought in Aaron Gordon, great pickup, high flying, should have won a dunk contest, got robbed. Okay, consummate team player, 6 foot 6'9", still got money, still explosive, still a good pat, you know. And then they got Michael Porter Jr., who's in some of these trade talks, who can absolutely fill it up, flat out score. All right, that's embracing the team, the concept, ridiculously long. All right, you're going 6'7", 6'8", 2 through 5, 6'7" and 7'1", 2 through 5, and you got a top tier coach in Mike Malone, running and gunning, scheming, opening things up, right? Pace and space, right? All right, we can do the the battles, the Big East battles. I'm gonna talk about my Knicks, who have the slowest pace, one of the slowest paces in the NBA. All right, but the Denver Nuggets have all of the components to be multiple time championships. But just like that, folks, are they going to win another one? I don't have them. They've fallen back into the pack in the West. OKC is the team of the future in the West, as far as I'm concerned. All right, players I just named, all young, and Sam Presti still has a boatload, of picks to use to continue to improve this roster. All right, they weren't quite ready. They let Dallas Alpha. What are they? Dallas Mad Dog them last year. I was gonna say Alpha Male. Mad Dog them last year. Um, and they just, they didn't. I thought, okay, Dallas, pound for pound, is more talented, right? You don't know what you're gonna get with Dallas in terms of their mercurial stars, Luka and Kyrie. But Jason Kidd, speaking of elite coaches, gotten the best out of both those players. Again, I say mercurial stars, thin skin, sensitive. That was the best season of Kyrie Irving's career last year. Book it. Not the rookie of the year. Not the time when he was in Cleveland and got 3-4 coaches fired. Not the time when he quit from Cleveland and has been rage quitting ever since 2016. Jason Kidd produced somehow, was the one person, or very few, that could get through to that Kyrie Irving, who could have had championships in Brooklyn, but instead went to Brooklyn talking about we don't need a coach when they had a top tier coach in Kenny Atkinson. Shout out to the Cleveland Cavaliers. You remember that? We don't need a coach. You had an elite coach. You could have won championships. But what did Kyrie wanted to do? Kyrie wanted to Kyrie. And by the way, I'm coming from the great state of New Jersey. Kyrie Irving from West Orange, New Jersey. Okay? Nothing but love coming from the tri-state area. Make that clear. Okay? But being a chemistry killer, no. You're talking to a Rudy Rudiger. You're talking to somebody who's the leader of the Eric Snow fan club. Holla at your boy Eric Snow, 2001 Philadelphia 76ers, under the leadership of Larry Brown. Holla at him. I can't stand when guys pull a Diana Ross in the Supremes and go diva and tank good teams. And we noticed what happened in Brooklyn. And they still could have battled and went through with Harden and Durant, who, by the way, should have been a duo. I was saying that back then. This is before, I got technically savvy. But we remember back when OKC traded James Harden for Serge Ibaka. Speaking of Sam Presti, they did go to an NBA championship, okay? But Harden, even though he came off the bench, hold on. No. They didn't go to an NBA championship with Serge. They went to the championship with Harden, and they were too young. And Miami after Miami got smacked up by Dallas, that was Miami's year. But way back when, Sam Presti should have moved on from Russ and kept Harden. That was the more symmetrical. Harden and Durant are more of two peas in a pod than Durant and Westbrook. All right, but Harden went to Houston and got his MVP on. But we forget It could have been Harden and Durant in OKC. It was Harden and Durant in Brooklyn for a short minute, and they still could have got to the finals. Minus a toenail on the 3-point line without Kyrie and with an unprepared coach. Speaking of unprepared coaches, we're going to talk about JJ, right? This idea we don't need a coach. You don't need to do your time. This whole NIL phenomenon taking over the universe, right? That talent is all that matters. Shout out to your boy on this point, and I'm gonna get we you know what I mean, SandCity Sports. Let me see what we doing. We got any commentary? We got any commentary out there? You know what I mean? Okay, we don't. Okay, but people, we here late night going into the holidays. This is the time that the nighttime is the right time. Again, we come in late night, but this is what we have to do, folks. We have to do, errands and you know what I mean. Things have to be done, and then we make this time for the passion project. In the best of all possible worlds, excuse me, it would be a little earlier, but I don't mind. Okay, if you're up right now and you know what I mean, people are up. We're communicating, we're connecting. Okay, my main man, not my main man, but I've been a fan from day one. I got no problem giving the props and respect. Shannon Sharp and Nightcap is on right now. We going. No, we're not going toe to toe. That's not. But you know what I mean. You get my point. We're up. We're taking part. Okay, I'm gonna get up and be back at him tomorrow. Another work day. Going into the holiday vacation. You gotta love it. I have a get two job. Not a got two job. I love my job. Um. Okay, but sometimes it's late, and it is, and it is what it is. But as I always say, we're gonna do episodes. It doesn't always have to be, the late show, for SandCity Sports. But no, but we're gonna make it do what it do. And again, shout out to Shannon Sharp, who's had his, what I mean, career wise and some personal stuff more recently, but career wise, ups and downs. He made that lemonade out of them lemons, did he not? Made the lemonade out of them lemons. Already had Club Shay Shay while he was at Fox Sports, which was on the rise, and then took home. I think they call them Weebies, whatever, you know what I mean, the Cat Williams, and then many others, and then built up Nightcap from scratch, coming into this late night arena and balling out of control. Balling out of control. So this, and I'm naturally a night owl, you know what I mean? So, it is um it is what it is. Okay, but we was talking about the NBA Cup. I'm gonna get to the Milwaukee Bucks and the respect I gotta put on their name. I told you how I feel about the Oklahoma City Thunder, the New Jacks on the attack, NBA Finals, red eye, in the West. But when we say that, when we go with the new hotness, when we go with that new, we gotta realize, you know what I mean? We got to realize how many people are being left behind. All right. And the Denver Nuggets are, oh my goodness, are chief among them. We got stuff to talk about in terms of this NBA, this Memphis Grizzlies, and this Houston Rockets. Okay. So Denver's in the 5 seed. Shout out to the Clippers. Clippers always in the mix. Best run organization. Steve Ballmer. Okay. And then we got Minnesota. Phoenix has dropped down, but still, the West is, shout out to the West. Golden State was number 1 seed like a week ago. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Can I say that in terms of the world we live in? It was all good, but a week ago, can I say, in this world that we're living in right now, in terms of scandals, but that people, we're not gonna go deep into that side of things. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? And people, getting. Actually, I might have to touch on, not deep, but we're gonna touch on how Diddy is just affecting everything because it has touched the NBA. There was speculation that LeBron was, and that could still be something that. So we will get there. But when I say it was all good just a week ago, I'm referring to the Golden State Warriors, who was the number 1 seed, and now is the 10 seed in the play-in. Shout out to the San Antonio Spurs, folks. We got teams in the Western. The West is back to being the West. San Antonio is a game over 500 and not even in the doggone play-in. Not even in the doggone play-in. With Chris Paul being the sensei for the young Wemby. What? And Popovich not being with the team. We wish Popovich all health and coming back full strength. My Sacramento Kings, who I picked to bounce back, but they're not really doing that bad. They're only a game under 500, and they can't even get to they're the 12th seed. The West is a juggernaut, which has been the case since time immemorial. We'll touch on the All-Star game, what's going on in the All-Star game, and the constant changes. Hey, hey, you got to try things. So I respect Adam Silver for trying things, but with House, I mean, you might just could have gone back to East West, but the All Star game has kind of gotten mixed up. Lack of, I mean, shout out to Tony Soprano, right? Remember Tony Soprano, first episode for my Sopranos people out there? I think about my father. He never reached the heights like me, but in a lot of ways, he had it better. He had his people, they had their standards, they had pride. Today, what do we got? What do we got? Okay, Sopranos, greatest of all time. Now I put The Wire at one. We're going, what I mean, Sopranos, but that's close. And they was back to back for many a moon. Sopranos took for home all the Emmys and accolades. The late great James Gandolfini. I was in Jersey traveling. They dedicated a number, but a service station to James. If you're on the Garden State, coming into the New York area, we got the service station for the late great James Gandolfini. R.I.P. Yes, indeed. Beautiful thing. And those shows was back to back in the day. People, I'm getting older, but I'm maintaining the black, what I mean, thing. For now, but I'm getting older, you know what I mean? Sopranos and Wyatt was back to back. Sopranos took home all of them Emmy awards, all of them Emmys. The Wire got shut out. That's just a little bit of, you know what I mean? Now I didn't let you know this is SandCity Sports. We doing what we doing here. SandCity Sports, my people. We make it do what we make it do what it do. SandCity. You feel me? Okay, but at the same time, you know what I mean? We gotta. Where was I going with that? And not that I'm in any way shape. Shout out to David Simon, creator of The Wire. I'm not putting myself beside the creator of who I view and many people view as the greatest television show of all time. All I'm saying is the creator of the greatest television show of all time and the greatest television show of all time won 0 Emmys. Speaking of awards and rewards, okay, so that's just we just put those things out there. So you never know when you're gonna get your flowers. And again, this is no comparison myself to greatness, but I always have to mention that when I mention The Wire. I was talking about people, standards, and pride. The All Star game has none of those. None of those. None. Zero. Zilch. Which is why another revision is coming up. Because when we had East versus West, which again, the West has always been monstrous. Shaq, KG, Yao, um, you know what I mean? Just a bit. Tim Duncan, Kobe, going back, Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd came to the Nets, but you know what I mean? The West in the day in the 2000s is just monstrous, and it's monstrous once again. So you would think that this East versus West back and could cultivate but these guys, the actual game itself, I don't care. I don't care about load management. I don't care about the problems of having money and all of more money, more problems, which is mental health. You know what I mean, right? You got to be careful what you wish for. Why? Because you might get it. A little bit of game a coworker put me on to, right? Shout out to my man Jim Carrey. Have you seen that meme with Jim Carrey? Have you seen it? Where he says, I wish, this is Jim Carrey speaking the facts. I wish people could become rich and famous and do all that social media stuff that you want to do on the yacht so everybody knows it. I wish, this is what I wish everybody could experience what many people, myself included, that good life want to experience a touch of. Life is life. We have to have life and do right and have purpose and sacrifice. That's not, but we want to have those good things. We strive for them. We strive for them, right? Jim Carrey said, I wish people could have all of that so they could see it's not the answer. They could see it's not. N-O-T, capital, all of them, the answer. What does this have to do with the All-Star game? Why the heck can't we get the best players in the game, in the world, to actually play a real game? All-Star games that we've witnessed over the last couple of years have been bona fide, unequivocal layup lives. Disgraceful. Absolute disgrace. Not even like walk through practice level of just like a contest, just literally layup lines, like players not even getting back to half court. I don't know who the hell is responsible for this. I know if it's just, and I don't care if the next man is in don't care mode because he's angry with some baby mama drama, or if the man next door is angry because how they did Jokic picking him last. How see, remember we got rid of the drafts because they disrespected Jokic. It was just him and Laurie, which is bananas. And Jokic just got up and walked on a team. You think when you have nice things, there's always other levels. You remember that. And then Jokic had to get LeBron, who disrespected him, and how Denver has been manhandling the Lakers. Had a little bit to do with the All-Star selection. Remember when Giannis wanted to pick Dame first? Okay, so the NBA, Adam Silver's been trying things that, you know what I mean? The draft was pretty cool. Excuse me. Again, coming back from, shout out to my physician that got me the antiviral because, yeah, I had to, and this is one of these things. I had the sore throat. I was hoping it was going to go away. Your boy ain't a spring chicken no more. I'm not a spring chicken. If you, I'm keeping, you know what I mean? I'm keeping, the beard is black, the hair, just got my line today, got my geometry right, because I got a ref tomorrow, so I got the geometry is right. I'm refing tomorrow, baby. We got a prep school game tomorrow, baby. We gonna do it. I love this. You know what I mean? We make, you know what I mean? Just checking. But you know what I mean? I had to get, and the young folk was telling me, hey, you gotta, young folk telling you, one of the young ones told me, hey, what's going on? You got to get your taper right, man. You get that some, you right. My widow's peak was taking over, but my geometry is right. So we're doing this show, and the geometry is right. We got a ball game, and another work day tomorrow. um, Sometimes I was a little, and it's a beautiful thing. I was speaking on the All-Star game. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. And the different things that they have tried to do that were were good, were interesting, were intriguing. The draft was pretty cool, but players was most certainly in their feelings, right? And these things matter, and these guys care, and things that you're like, oh, you got all this money in the world. No, 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 they care. I care, and they did disrespect Jokic, and he did put the Lakers on blast. Okay, we've discussed that. Okay, where is this going with the All Star game? Any way they do it in the new format, we're gonna have four different teams, and we're gonna have the rising stars are gonna be a team, and there's gonna be prize money and so on and forth. This is what I can't stand and won't get over. I don't care. You know what I was saying. LeBron wants to take the night off and just run around and not play, like not even. I'm going to try. And I know that's like taking it back to what our younger people go through with this craziness in AAU that goes on where, you just get these blowouts and teams throw their hands up and nobody is, really playing serious basketball, even though they don't travel 200 miles and paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to these events. But then things go sideways and they just stop playing. Like, even though that's what all of this was for, like that court time, never mind when that goes on during live periods and coaches are actually there. FYI to any young person coming up through the ranks, I just had to mention it. Okay, you could just play rec ball and keep that money and put it in a 401k or an IPO or whatever the heck it is. If if you're not gonna have resilience when you play AAU, if you're not gonna have resilience when you play AAU, like what happens with a lot of young people, a lot of families. I didn't have all this when I was coming up. I certainly would have got caught in the drama because I did get my nose in a lot of drama coming up and did not focusing on just getting better day by day. Um, but yeah, if that's what you've seen and you can't get around it, then just stop playing AAU. I'll tell you that right now. You're not missing anything. I don't care how many pictures you see online and people like, with the famous people that are at these events and smiling and believing it's going to help their recruitment in any way, shape, or form. I don't care. You go to these events, particularly during the live period, which, by the way, is when the decisions are made during the live period. The other weekends are just preparation for the live periods. The live period is when the recruitment and the rankings are solidified. Just FYI. But if you are in those events and your team has disunity and one guy gets the ball hogging, gets the volume shooting, gets to like negative player efficiency and you're on that team and it's incredibly frustrating and everybody's watching and you let that affect you and so then you throw your hands up and just stop playing, start ball hogging, taking low percentage shots, not getting back on defense, not playing good man coverage, not being in help, not rebounding, not getting deflections, not making that advanced pass, all those things that go into real basketball and player efficiency, which is who you actually are as a basketball player. If that's your AAU experience, while coaches are watching, coaches can't wait to see that, by the way. I'm not, I'm a referee and a men's league coach. I'm not an actor, but I bet big money. Coaches cannot wait to see you get frustrated and throw your hands up and poke your lip out. Okay? One less. There's hundreds of kids I have to evaluate. I'm looking for a diamond in the rough if I'm a coach. I'm here to see the ESPN players, but every ESPN game I go to, I'm looking, all right, to find that Steph Curry. By the way, unranked. Unranked. He wanted to go to Virginia Tech. Where Dell went, Virginia Tech said, you can redshirt. You can redshirt. We ain't got no time for you. We'll see. Steph was like, I'm a bet on myself. Heading to the Silver Fox and Davidson. How'd that work out for him? Unranked. That's who the coaches are really looking for. Along with, they want the high-flying guys. But the high-flying guys who do these things, have bad body language, aren't the greatest teammates. They're McDonald's guys. They're burger boys and girls. Shout out to the girls. Shout out to Dawn Staley and South Carolina. Dynastic and Gino, healthy this year. That was a cheap call against Iowa last year without his top players. They're back. Carolyn Ducharme out of Milton, Massachusetts. AZ FUD with Paige, UConn, going to be back. We know what Juju on that beat do. Women's game is thriving. There's some foolishness going on in the WNBA we need to talk about. We will talk about. Women's game is thriving. If you're a hooper, you support women's basketball. No two ways about it. What does this have to do with the NBA All-Star Game? I'm going to make that point. But back to the people in the youth leg, in the youth capacity. Back to you folks in the youth capacity. Coaches cannot wait to see you getting your feelings. Cannot wait. Okay? Right off the list. Right off the list you go. I don't care how nice your jerseys are. I don't care how spiffy your patent leather Jordans are. I see you don't have no resilience. You don't have no role acceptance. You don't have a mind for the game. You might have a little bit of bunnies and a little bit of, right off my list. Get the heck up out of here. You're gone. You're gone. Done. Okay, I'll take it from the Burger Boys because they're Burger Boys. Odds are, not all of them, but the odds are they're gonna have a chance in the league. So I want pros, not Joes. I'm taking them. The best of the rest with that attitude, which AAU, because I play AAU. I can have all of the, you know what I mean? I can have the attitude, the AI Baron Davis attitude. You ain't AI, you ain't Baron Davis. By the way, check out Baron Davis's college highlights before and after the ACL. Bananas. Bananas. What does this have to do with the All-Star Game, folks? That's the same way that the best players in the world play on All-Star Weekend. Give up no effort. I mean, they have a smile on their face. I mean, they do that at least. But the seriousness of purpose is pathetic. And you know what I mean? This is one thing. This is one instance where we missed the Mamba. We miss Kobe. Because Kobe, you know damn well Kobe would have been that one. Even you just getting back on defense, putting his hands. Just if it makes just the rest of you guys look ashamed and embarrassed, then then you should. You should. But literally, of the 24 players, like nobody, one guy might try for a little bit, but somebody just plays serious basketball. Help, hand up, put some effort in on a rebound. Help out, you know what I mean? Look like it makes a difference, but nobody does, and the game is an absolute sham. All right? Shout out to Adam Silver for, just continuing to switch it up and to see what works and to see what can stick. And there's these 14, whatever, but as I was saying, we going and we haven't even got to the East. But just looking at how stacked the Western Conference is right now, a Sacramento team under the capable leadership of Mike Brown with a DeMar DeRozan are in a 12 seat on the game under 500. San Antonio Spurs looking to get into the play-in, continue to build with Castle, Wemby, Chris Paul, the Sensei out of the play-in. Golden State, former number one seed, not really going anywhere, and we all know that. Um, but this new iteration with Steph, the young guys, Pizorski, apologize, Jonathan Kaminga, who's a New York guy, know him. Um, and then their veterans, Steph and Draymond, around them, like the kid, Jackson Davis out of Indiana, he's solid. Suns have had injuries. They started, but the Suns are going to be in the mix under the capable leadership of Coach Bud. Injuries have knocked them off. Timberwolves getting adjusted to Randall being there, but still very much in the mix. And that deal was a win-win for both teams. Clippers don't have the horses, but they're a first-rate organization. Denver's in the 5 seed and a team that really looks like lost their window. Dallas 17-10, capable leadership of Jason Kidd, continuing to get through to Kyrie Irving. They made that gamble. It's paid off in spades. They're much more athletic than myself, and they have like the worker bees, i.e. Larry Brown. The Dallas Mavericks remind me of the 2001 Philadelphia 76ers. First, meaning AI and others against the world. AI, beat AI, take 30 shots, you know what I mean? But we're going to have a Theo Ratliff, traded for Dikembe Mutombo. We're going to have a George Lynch, okay, out of Temple, Don Chaney. We're going to have an Eric Snow. We're going to have a Mike Geiger. Blue collar, gritty, Philly, working class heroes surrounding AI, the offensive, juggernaut. Volume shooting juggernaut. And that's how we're going to make it work. So that's what the Clippers have done. Surrounded Luka and Kyrie with just guys that are, they're much better defensively. They certainly have shooters because of those pieces around them. Grant Hill would have been, Grant Hill. Grant Hill, Duke. Grant Williams, okay, got in his feelings and got an attitude, which wasn't really how he was with the Celtics. So he would have, that could have worked out for him. It didn't. Really happy for Houston and N.B.A. In terms of what they're doing. And again, with a top-tier coach, right? Top-tier coach, top-tier draft picks, Jalen Green, with Smith, Sagoon, okay? Bringing in Van Fleet, your floor general. And N.B.A. just knowing his business. Amen Thompson, who I let go for my fantasy team, and is just balling right now as his defensive rover. So I love, how Houston made the right choice with the coach. Unfortunate, with N.B.A. in Boston, but he landed on his feet in another situation, and it's paying dividends. And love Memphis, a lot of love going around, and that's appropriate. People slept on Zach Edey. I was a huge Zach Edey fan. He gave Donovan Clingan problems in the championship game. Go watch the first half. He gave him problems. Okay. UConn pulled away in the second half. Purdue wasn't about it. But Edey gave Clingan problems. Right? He's an N.B.A. center. All of this, and this is kind of, I'm going to continue with the N.B.A. because I got to get to my Knicks in the Eastern Conference. We're going to talk about shooting 75 threes in a doggone game. We are going to talk about that. Yes, indeed. But, yeah, like Zach Edey, it's still basketball. And, to have, it's not just run to the hash mark and heave. So I loved Memphis going up and getting him to be their center of the future. And, Ja missing essentially 2.5 seasons back in the mix. They got Bane, and they're right back where they were when they were rolling, and really could have had the off the court stuff not taken over, given Golden State a run for their money. And we done talked about OKC. Let's come over to the Eastern Conference. Yeah. We don't need a coach. Today I'll be the coach. Today you be the coach. Today he can be the coach. We don't need a coach. I made it clear on this show. All right. Previous episodes. So, frankly, I'm upset with myself that I didn't, really, this is one of the things where life gets busy, so on and forth, and you know what I mean? Because I was really hot. Now I'm behind. And it's like, oh, you're just saying that. But, Kenny Atkinson is a, right. So now I'm following the pack, but I was high on Cleveland because of Kenny Atkinson. Okay. And this is what frustrates you as you get older in life. and you just say you're so busy doing A, B, C, X, Y, Z, and it's like, I wish I had more time to do the things that I love to do, but like, you got to, life is life, and so we have to do what we have to do. But I wish I could have I've been following more closely because I'm not surprised at all the Cleveland Cavaliers number one seed in the Eastern Conference. Not surprised at all that they're looking like formidable challengers for the Boston Celtics. They've usurped my New York Knicks as the you know heir apparent to the Celtics, but that's Kenny Atkinson and the talent that they have and that they've had. The roster hasn't changed much. Darius Garland was rage quitting. Do we remember that? Darius Garland wanted the heck out of there. I'm tired of this. I can't stand Donovan Mitchell. Where's that now? They're 23-4. All right, and the real deal. Celtics right there, not going anywhere at 21-6. Glad my Knicks, okay, 17-10, getting it together, gelling. I still miss Ragu. I miss DiVincenzo. Not happy about that. Still, didn't need to do that. Okay, the Coach Nova connection. Magic. Love Jamal Mosley. Speaking of teams with role acceptance, they go 10 deep. They have Cole Anthony. They have Jalen Suggs. They have both Wagners. Paolo's been out. They're just a deep team, and guys are just committed. They're not worrying. Cole Anthony's not saying I want to play 35 minutes or and with this load management, my voice is what my voice is, but we're gonna power through. With this load management, it works out because guys get their like when this guy rests, okay, you're gonna play 42 minutes, and then this guy's gonna rest, and you know what I mean. So it kind of if teams scheme it out as they should, even though I don't agree with load management, and my man Mikal Bridges doesn't agree with it either, right? If teams scheme it out, that's how it can work when you have two starting point guards with Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs, right? But okay, Jalen, you're gonna take a rest. Cole, you're gonna get your 38 minutes. Okay, Cole, you're gonna take a rest. Jalen, you're gonna get your 38 minutes. And then when we are at full strength, we do have two lines, and guys are gonna have to maximize that 27 minutes. And the Orlando Magic do that. They play for each other. Jamal Mosley has gotten through to them. They're dangerous. Okay, Milwaukee. I'm listen. Love Andre Jackson out of UConn. Um, okay. And this is one Doc. Doc's a coach. He can coach and scheme and get through the stars, most notably. And they're in the conversation. They're a championship team. No, they're not. And that ended when they got rid of Drew Holiday. They're not a championship team as constituted appear in the story. I just don't think that. Never mind the behind the scene things that are being managed. Nonetheless, Giannis has made it clear he now things are going pretty good, and they won the N.B.A. Cup. So let's see. But I want out. Giannis said, "I want out. I want out." Okay. And Dame, wanted to be in Miami. They both, if they had their drovers, would be in Miami. Okay. But they put that aside, like Cleveland, and just focused on first things. And they're in the 5 seed, not doing bad. Miami Heat are always going to be there. Atlanta Hawks under the capable leadership of Quinn Snyder. Pacers a little bit behind where I thought they should be or would be at the 8th seed, 2 games under. Rick Carlisle, Chicago Bulls perennially underachieving, and Brooklyn at the bottom of the plane, but we don't really expect much from Brooklyn. Could be a fire sale. Sure, Detroit playing much better with the former coach in Cleveland, whose name escapes me at this particular point in time. Sixers dumpster fire with injuries. The Hornets, Musai's and the Cooper Flag sweepstakes, and Washington has been a dumpster fire for like the better part of half a decade. Okay, just flat out dysfunction. Okay, same thing. Like I wonder, like Utah, what the heck is Danny Ainge doing? Pelicans, just blow it up. There are teams that should be like play-in bound: the Jazz, the Pelicans, the Raptors, the Sixers. That you just have dysfunction going on, and we know what that is with the Sixers. Trowell and Embiid starting and finishing it. Wanted PG, got PG, and just still, just about, the drama life. Capable general manager, Daryl Morey. Elton Brand is still in the mix. Okay, Maxey for the future. But, what did Jeff Van Gundy say? Most important relationship on any team, basketball team, is between the coach and the best player. Most important relationship is between the coach and the best player. Okay, and, Embiid is going to be Embiid. He's been, super talented, always injury prone, even from at Kansas. And so the Sixers might be a lost season. May be able to get in the playoffs and get bounced in the play-in and get bounced in the first round. Unfortunate. But Detroit trending. The Hornets are always going to be there. The Hornets and the Wizards are just like failed franchises, failed states, failed franchises. And Musai has a plan. This team has talent, okay, with RJ, with Quickly, with Scotty Barnes. They shouldn't be this bad. Maybe, the Hornets, the Raptors are clearly not a dysfunctional franchise. And maybe, they'd win the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. But this is what these bottom teams. New Orleans doesn't deserve Cooper. Utah, maybe, but not really deserving because they should be much better. Washington, absolutely not. You're going to send them into, a dark age, dark land. Hornets, no. Hornets cake, I don't know. The lottery, the N.B.A. seems to have a habit of interesting storylines, going back to Patrick Ewing, rather than like the team, just. But on the other hand of that, do I want to send a star to Charlotte? How's that working out for Lonzo? Do you want to send Wemby? Do I want to send or do I want to send him to a state? Because again, the idea that the lottery is a pure lottery, I just don't buy it in the NBA. The Cleveland Cavaliers get the number one pick when LeBron is ready to come into the NBA, and they get the number one pick when LeBron wants to come back to Cleveland. All right, say what you're saying. Who you are, how you are as an organization does play a role in who actually gets that number one pick. And so there's just a couple that are, they're in the sweepstakes doing the tanking, which I despise, just like I despise load management. But, it could be like a year. Like Chicago had a 1% chance when they got Derrick Rose. Chicago kid in the Chicago, a franchise that has standards and doesn't tank. Right? So we will see how that goes. We've done the West. We've taken a look at the East. We're pretty much good on the N.B.A. The WNBA situation. All right, this is not a one-on-one comparison, folks, at all, in any way, shape, form, fashion. But the Detroit Pistons, it's not the Detroit Pistons, Isaiah Thomas and other all-stars, they did freeze out Michael Jordan. They did. This is not a one-on-one comparison between Caitlin Clark and Michael Jordan. But that did happen in real life. And we know the results. Jordan goes crazy next time he plays the Pistons. It establishes an unending rivalry to this day between Jordan and Thomas. Unfortunate in many ways. Isaiah Thomas is from Chicago, West Chicago. Check out his biography, autobiography, whatever you want to call it, about what it was like growing up in Chicago. All right, and the impact that had, and how he, was that phoenix that rose up from the ashes. Michael Jordan, from rural North Carolina, and his, ascending, into, prominence and, kind of skyrocketing, all that stuff, right? We know those things. But it's unfortunate that two people that kind of had to work themselves up and to get to, just because of personalities, and have just been feuding, as they feud since time immemorial. Excuse me. What does this have to do with the WNBA, folks? So Michael Jordan's impact on the NBA is comparable to Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA. All right? Right? When the NBA made the decision and Nike made the better decision with the ad campaign about banned, and that $5,000 being the best marketing, right? So, this we keep getting off track when it comes to Caitlin Clark in the WNBA, and it should have stopped a long time ago. It's going to continue, and it's just hurting, the brand. Caitlin Clark was the athlete of the year, and so good. She deserves it. A phenomenon. Who's deserving, right? How did Caitlin Clark play, during the season? Check out Caitlin Clark's play, particularly after the Olympics, when she got snubbed from the Olympics, and she was rested and ready to go. Okay, lit the WNBA up. Any idea she's not deserving of all the lit the WNBA up? Started off back and forth, but when after the Olympics and she got that rest and that extra woosah and just, you know what I mean, everything, she showed that I'm here. And I don't want to hear anything about, all the players that went away from Olympics retired. I don't want to hear anything about that. That was a coronation, the women, to the gold medal. All right, so I don't want, they weren't tied. Even though France gave them a quite a run of the championship game, they weren't tied. Okay, Caitlin Clark served notice. Okay, she's bona fide. She's a really good player, all-star level player, Team USA level player, right? But when she gets anything, it's, you know, where is the chorus and the uplift and the swell to say this sister's deserving? Where is that? It's always just one by one by one by one by one of taking, sniping her, taking those pot shots, which I understand, but I don't understand. I don't understand because a lot of it's just flat out sour grapes. We need to see the whole WNBA, not one player. Baloney. Baloney. We needed to see Michael, and then we will watch the N.B.A. That's not a marketing strategy. That's not practical or feasible. The WNBA is the league of the year. Who the heck cares? Even if you call the N.F.L. the league of the year, how can I connect with that? I connect with my homeboy. I connect with the king of the north. The king of the north, Josh Allen. Jordan Love in Green Bay, putting respect on his name. Can Lamar ever get over the top? These are the storylines and narrative that people can connect with. People can connect with a doggone league. The league is the league of the year. That doesn't, captivate anybody. Okay? It's nonsensical. And it takes you off message. The WNBA consistently gets off message, which is the league. It's over 25-year history. It's great players, and it's stars, plural. So Sports Illustrated going to make, homegirl Aja Wilson athlete of the year. Great. The conversation should not be Aja Wilson or Caitlin Clark. It should be Aja Wilson and Caitlin Clark and this rising league. That's the messaging that's being lost. All right, behind all of this, just ridiculousness, sour grapes, and we can all do it. I have my little platform here, going into the holiday vacation. I have my little platform. All right, respect. I can sound off, and if I'm a Joe, right, or a Jag, just a guy, right? It's just me, my little world here, doing my passion project. I guess so I'm sounding off. Um, but when it's people of means who have, notable platforms, specifically in the WNBA, okay, and they are sounding off, and it just takes the ship off course. Okay. And you don't want it to get to the point where, as Michael Ray Richardson said, you don't want it to get to the point where the ship be sinking. You do not. And you keep missing these strong headwinds that could move the league forward when you get into this mean girl gossip nonsense and foolishness. Okay, yeah, make your, you know what I mean? But there's a time and a place. That doesn't need to be, if that is your argument, that shouldn't be the first argument. Let that be the argument like down the road, like when we're going into the spring. Let that moment happen and move things forward. But it's like every time the WNBA gets a moment, a lot of them, rightfully so, involving Caitlin Clark, the next step is not to just rally together and say, yay, WNBA, or yes, this is what the league has to offer. It's the next step is why her? Because she put 40 on you with 10 assists and 5 rebounds and 3 steals. That's why her. Play some defense. Talk about why her. She out there balling. All right, and she has a high Q rating. Okay, which is helping you and everything else. All right. So we touched on a little bit of the WNBA. We have to. I don't know if I'm gonna try to get back to do college football because there's a lot of interesting things going on in the world of college football. mm. You know what? I'm gonna leave. I'm just gonna say, hold on. I'm loving what I'm seeing in the NFL in terms of the rulers. The rulers, man. The Vikings, Lions, Packers. Who would have thought? NFC North, absolute powerhouse. The Eagles, the Commanders, back at them and on them. The Rams, the Seahawks, hanging around. Kansas City, always winning in the fourth quarter. Pittsburgh, okay, dangerous. Baltimore, losing ground. NFC East, Buffalo against the world. I like the parity. Okay, and any given Sunday, any given Super Bowl. We don't know. And a lot of upstart teams. The Steelers. Institutional strength. Forget your, you know what I mean, passing fancy. Forget all this rage quitting and throwing your hands up. The standard is the standard. Appreciate their success that they're having. Minnesota, nobody expected. Brian Flores is not an NFL coach, right? Since when is that? Since when is the Vikings been known for defense? Brian Flores is not an NFL head coach. And by the way, who came and said, you know something, you're still going to coach in the NFL, even though you're suing the NFL? Who came and said you're a part of this league and you're going to stay? The Steelers. The Steelers. Oh, well, you can't sue people and then expect to work for them. How do you think this works? Well, you keep firing African American head coaches. Steve Wilkes, 1 year in with the Cardinals, got to go. Okay, yeah, and Kingsbury came in and connected with Kyler for a minute, and then he didn't, and then they're a dumpster fire. Okay, Steve Wilkes again with with the Carolina Panthers, got him going, got him winning. No, I know better. Tepper, I'm a billionaire. They've had 2-3 coaches since Steve Wilkes. He had him moving in the right direction. He had experience. Can't be a head coach. All right, and then Brian Flores, his situation, and Miami Mike is a good coach, and I like Mike McDaniels, Josh McDaniels. Is it? Got to get myself. What the heck is going on here? Miami. Yeah, Mike McDaniel had that right. Good. Confuse myself at times. He's a good fit, but Brian Flores got a terrible deal. Period. And then you crossed the, you know what I mean? Like the craziness, like the Cleveland Browns years ago. Art Modell trying to strong arm Jim Brown. Jim Brown only played nine. Jim Brown should have played 18 seasons. He should have played twice as many seasons as he did. But we had, this patriarchal, you know, we tell you, corporatist, and those things that's the way of the world, by the way, since time immemorial. Haves and have nots. But was that better for the NFL or the Cleveland Browns that James Brown only played 9 seasons? Should have begged him to come back. Throw your pride aside and beg. Hurt everybody. Ridiculous. Okay. Was that a point? Was I making that point? Connecting point was talking about. Oh yes, beg, grovel. I respect the Steelers for showing love to Brian Flores. Because we would have said, oh well, you and Brian Flores can't be a part of this league and stuff like that. No, we're gonna take in the greater context of what he's saying. Yeah, it's the right. You have the right to, and sometimes it works out like it did. Okay, it worked out in Miami. They've had injuries, but Mike McDaniels is a good coach for that team and how they're constructed rather than defensive-minded coach. So that worked out. That was good. Carolina is an abyss. And Steve Wilkes got shafted. 1,000%. Okay. Steelers let Mike, didn't let. They brought in Brian Flores. He did a great job. Now he's over in Minnesota doing an outstanding job. And that franchise is very much in the conversation. We're going to conclude with we're going to conclude last 5 minutes or so with NCAA football, folks. Travis Hunter, yeah, you maybe shed some tears, right? Coming from the heart with the Heisman speech. There's this back and forth about should have been the Heisman and, two-way player, and Gentry had all these. Yeah, if Gentry did what he did for Alabama, sure. Boise State, come on. Mid-major. My feeling. Travis Hunter's for the Power 5 school. May not be the number one and this, that, or the third. He would a Power 5 school. All right. Conversation, about him and his girlfriend. Travis Hunter, you can tell he's a day one type of dude. He's also a day one type of dude. Patrick Mahomes. If you was with me, as the late great Bernie Mac said, when I was just me, then you're going to be with me when I come into my success. If you were with me when I was just me, LeBron James also very much like this, then you're going to be with me when I come into my success. So his loyalty to his girlfriend and you know what I mean, his day ones, including and especially Dion, I got no problem with that. I got no problem with that at all. I'm not going to go into too long of a diatribe. We talked about AAU for a time, about NIL and how it's revolutionizing and, impacting. Some would say destroying instead of the third. Not going to go too super deep into that. But it's college football playoffs. Can the woulda, coulda, shoulda? Can the Boise States and these mid majors, can they really hold their own against the big dogs in a big spot? Or are we going to get another 60-2 game, 12 game that we got when Georgia just demolished whoever the heck they demolished a couple years back in the Natty? Okay, fascinating storyline. Would have been great to see Colorado. I'm beyond thrilled that the Arizona State Sun Devils are in the mix. All right, got family out that way, and high school classmate is their strength and conditioning coach, Joe Conley, doing a great job. So I'm loving all that. When the heck did Georgia, and again, this is where for me, you can't. What is the late great? The late great. See, I'm tired. I'm out here. We got greats that we have with us, fortunately, that are still with us. Ken Burns talks about, struggling to make his first documentary about the Brooklyn Bridge. And he lived in New York, and the prices just it went up and it was too expensive, and he couldn't afford it. And he said he's going to have to get a real job. But for Ken Burns, a real job meant that the passion that you have, that project, the thing you want to do, you're just not going to be able to do it. And it's going to continue to collect dust on the refrigerator ceiling. Your dreams and continue to collect dust on your refrigerator ceiling. And Ken Burns said, that wasn't going to be me. He left New York, the mecca of filmmaking, and moved to Podunk, New Hampshire, town called Walpole, New Hampshire. This is all public record. That's been, where just nothing was. Rented a house that had more closet floor space than they had actual floor space in their apartment in the city. Ken Burns with his, then girlfriend became his wife. And that's where he built Florentine Films. Check out Ken Burns if you're into documentary films, as I am, one of my heroes. You have to prioritize the passion project. You have to do it. And so that is, why, we're doing this late night episode on a work day, but it is what it is. We get our sleep, we get back right to it. That's how it has to be sometimes. Prioritizing your passion, college football playoffs. Lost track of the connecting point there, but let me just hold on. Let me bring it into. Oh yeah, sure. Okay. Can the mid-majors, right? Do they belong? Okay, or is it really SEC against everybody? Are we going to all get together and the FCC is just going to clean everybody's clock and just kind of make it clear that football is different? Even though we love this game, it's a national phenomenon, multi-hundreds of billions of dollars. Roger Goodell's $70 million contract is different in that Southeast region. Just literally different. Atha and Sparta is different. I don't know, they're just going to run the table. And I should have. We're going to say for now, because I'm a huge fan of Arch Manning and his story and his process, I like Texas based on the strength of Arch. A kid who, had all the leverage and could have said my way or the highway. And I'm not, but again, coming from that family and that, excuse me, no, you're going to trust the process. Archman's, you're going to trust the process. Peyton Eli's nephew. You're going in as a first year guy to learn. And I've been stunned that this year, his second year, he's been learning again, 2 years. Almost like that Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love apprenticeship. Let me tell you something, people. Okay, if Texas doesn't win it this year, next year with Arch. And so, again, having people, having standards, having pride. Okay, shout out to Sopranos, even though we know that pride goes before the fall. Okay, it means to be proud of the hard work that you're putting in to get those results. That is the path to be on. I am the Cape Cod Kid, artist formerly known as Andre King. This is SandCity Sports. My people, take a light. No, I'm not going to use other people's line. That's a little bit of a wire. Take your time during this holiday season. Okay? Right? The trifecta. Take those steps back. Do not become overwhelmed with all of it. And I look forward to being back with you, my people, sooner rather than later as we go into these winter months. Peace.